Could it be that all of us, particularly those of us who are in the marketplace, could learn a real, valuable life and business lesson from the life, legend, and lore of Sydney Poitier? Well, that's an interesting idea. And I'd like to have a little conversation that counts, because this is Interesting Ideas. I'm Stan Houston, and the program begins right now. And indeed, we're glad you joined us. Hey, this is a program that's an ongoing experiment, and hopefully you'll be a participant in the experiment. Interesting Ideas. It's a podcast by me, Stan Houston, as one of the leaders and founders of What It Takes Radio. But it is more than that. It is an attempt to gain a group of people, probably just like you, who enjoy thinking about ideas, would like to see if you could share some, learn some, perhaps get connected with significant people who also have some thoughts and ideas, and we can build something that is not only interesting, but influential and impactful for the common good of all. Kind of a high ambition, but today we need men and women who have high ambition, and so this is the program, Interesting Ideas. It's a going and growing, and we hope that you will be a part of it. Not only particularly hey, Stan, I'd like to be on your program. We'd like to have you. Hey, Stan, I'd like to have a program of my own. Hey, Stan, I'm pretty good at this stuff. Do you think you could help me actually start my own program or radio station? The answer to all of those questions is yes, we could. That's what we do. And we do it well. Well, let's look at the interesting idea that I came up with for this weekend. And someone wrote this, and I'm just generously taking some ideas from an anonymous writer who wrote a tribute, the traditional obituary when a well-known figure dies. He begins by simply saying this: good question. Was any 20th century American more of a self-made man than the extraordinary Sydney Poitier, who died Friday at the age of 94? Now, I knew him well. Not at all. I knew him well because I was such a fan of his films, and always thought that he communicated what I believe is vital. A sense of power and mystery, not only in his persona, but certainly in his performances and presentations. Now let's get the rest of the story from our storyteller. Unschooled beyond the 4th grade in the Bahamas, he was sent to America by his parents at the age of 14 to hopefully save him from a life of crime. He was shot in the leg at the age of 16 during a 1943 race riot in Harlem. Oh my goodness. Poitier worked hard jobs as a menial laborer and an army hospital orderly before he happened to spot an audition notice for what was then called the Negro Ensemble Theater. Well, he was dismissed by the NET due to a thick accent and a halting reading style. Did you get that? He failed, and thereupon began the process of willing himself into becoming the most important American black pop culture figure of the 20th century. Here's the lesson. Poitier sat before a radio and trained his own voice, remaking it until he achieved the indelible sing-song baritone that, a little like Cary Grant's, sounded like no one else's on earth. Well, he got into the theater troupe and made conscious use of a charisma that emanated from him like a phenomenon. For sure. 4 years later, he had a first starring role in a movie in the 1950s called No Way Out. And he was all of 22. And he was playing a doctor. And he would do it again 17 years later in that classic film, yes, right, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? The first major motion picture to feature a black man and a white woman in a romance. Well, that film was the representative work and just simply one aspect of his career. The aspect to which he served as the representation of black pride and dignity, a person it would be impossible to consider in any way inferior to anyone else. Then it went on. Sydney Poitier, beloved legend and the first black Best Actor Oscar winner, was dead at 94. But the reason he became the first black Hollywood star, and until Denzel Washington's greatest, wasn't his ability to serve as a plaster saint. If it had been, he would have quickly turned into a respectable bore, the kind of figure who receives polite applause because the applause makes the applauder feel good. The man was remarkable. He really was. And he has passed on. But can I take you back to a little paragraph that I read before and maybe give you a little bit of a lesson that might be helpful for you today, besides the fact, again, the man made it. He was not a victim. Did not seem to think that he had special favors, but he understood that he had to have special talents, and that's what he did, and he did it well. Hey, we'll be back. These are interesting ideas from the life of Sydney Poitier. Hi, this is Stan once again. We're back with interesting ideas brought to you by What It Takes Radio. Check us out at witradio.net because we are in the business of helping you do what you must do, and that is to find yourself an audience and be able to reach out to them, engage them, connect them, emotionally connect with them in such a way that they will follow you, buy from you, trust you, vote for you, whatever might be good for them and also good for you, your life, and your career. Now, remember that paragraph that I just read to you, okay? Poitier, I always have trouble getting the French right. Poitier sat before a radio and trained his own voice, remaking it until he achieved the indelible sing-song baritone that, a little like Cary Grant's, sounded like no one else's on earth. Now, one of the reasons I am giving lessons on how to be a podcaster is because in today's world, an MBA will do you very little good. As I say, it's mostly bad advice in today's economy. However, what I oftentimes say, an MSE will be very valuable. And you say, well, what's an MSE? Well, it's something stupid that I made up, but it gets the point across. It's a master of self-expression. You've got to be good at expressing yourself. And that doesn't mean that you can give a talk or that you know how to have a conversation. It's the full gamut of personal performing and speaking and engaging. In effect, all business is show business. And you are going to have to learn how to perform in the show business economy of today. Now, I also a little bit embarrassed to admit it. But hey, I do it all the time. Oftentimes what I do is, particularly like when I was driving to the studio this morning, I had a Sirius FM on. Hey, when I'm in the car and I'm listening to the radio, and of course this is satellite, it's not the real radio, it's what I do, podcast. Yes, I like to just be entertained or learn something useful. I don't want to hear the same old songs I don't want or songs I don't like or talk that is rather meaningless and perhaps harmful to me because it just makes me mad. What I do is oftentimes I will turn on Seriously Sinatra and I try and sing along with Frank. I try to imitate Frank. Now, why do I do that? Well, first of all, it just makes me feel good. My wife says that Stan loves to sing, and he'd be a very good singer if he could just learn how to stay on tune and do the notes. Other than that, he's got a good voice. He just can't sing very much. And of course, my response to her when that happens in church, I say, remember the good Lord said, make a joyful noise. And of course, it may not be a good song, but it certainly is joyful noise. But that's how I continually try every day and every occasion to try and practice my voice. Now, particularly today, I had, which I always do, and which every broadcaster had, if you had kind of been off for a couple of days, you have Monday mouth. We used to call it that. And that means that literally, if you took off on Friday, that meant that Saturday and Sunday you weren't doing your voice work. And guess what? Having that time off puts you in you better get up, wake up, do your exercises, and get back into self-expression mode. Now, I would encourage you to do things like that. Yes, learn how to be a podcaster. Even if you don't want to be one, the 3 to 5 hours that you learn about how to be on the radio and to express yourself will be well worth it. It would be hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars well spent. Now, obviously, poor little Sydney didn't have that kind of money, but he had that kind of time, energy, and desire to sit before a radio and listen and imitate and try to develop his own sound and style. Unique to him, not like everybody else. And that's what carried him forward. Now, the fact that he had natural charisma, but please keep in mind, natural charisma is a spirit force that you just kind of have. But even if you don't kind of have it, part of it can be developed by simply taking time to smile, to be direct, to listen a lot, and then simply show that you're interested in people. And to do so in a way that is clear, concise, engaging. In effect, something you learned by practicing being on the radio almost every day. That's what happened. And if it hadn't been for that little time in which that young man, having been turned down for a little local neighborhood theater, decided to listen to the radio and begin to learn how to master the expression and the style and the substance and more the spirit of what it was all about. That got him first a break in the movies and, as you oftentimes used to hear, and now you know the rest of the story. Well, there we go. That's my story for this Monday evening, flying into the busy week. But I just wanted to share that with you right now and encourage you to learn how in 22. Here's an easy and simple resolution for you. I'm going to learn how to be on the radio. I'm going to learn how to do that. Just as a beginner, 101, And then I'm going to practice. I'm going to try and imitate the commercials I hear. I'm going to try and imitate the songs that I hear. And when I hear something that sounds good or obviously comes from a person who's got the style and substance, I'm going to try and imitate it. And then I'm going to find something to read, and I'm going to read it, not quietly, but with the spoken word, with expression, with energy, with empathy, with learning how to speak up, speak down, finalize, and then make it attractive. I'm going to learn how to do that. There we go. That's an interesting idea, and I guarantee you that if you'll take action, it will go well for you. Thank you for your time. Again, this is Interesting Ideas. Take a break, and I'll be right back with a little shameless self-promotion. Okay, are you going to do that? Well, I hope so. Hey, I can help you. Again, reach out to me. My name is Stan. Stan, the spokesman. I'll help you bring yourself and your message to life. And the podcasting phenomenon is not only something you should do, it is at least something you should know how to do to make your mark in life and business today. That brochure you have is simply a dead tree. That flyer, that memo, it is lifeless. It is only when you can speak and express yourself well that you will make your mark, stand out, have a unique spot and role in the world today. So please check out our web stage. We call it that. It's also a studio. Please check it out at witradio.net, witradio.net. If you'd like to be on my program, Interesting Ideas, if you'd like to have your own program, or if you just need someone to talk to about making this change in your life, we can help you. So reach out to me at stanhusted@gmail.com, stanhusted@gmail.com. We'll be back with more interesting ideas, and we hope to hear from you because I know that you have interesting ideas that you'd like to share with people like me and perhaps other people all around the world. We can help you do that. That's what we do, and we do it well. Hey, best and blessings, and bye for now.